King Abdullah and Queen Aziza Amina are the most beloved rulers of Malaysia. People admire them for their openness, kindness, and dedication to the country, but very few know about the royal family's secret that has been hidden for decades. The Sultan had a second wife, Julia Abdul Ray, a popular actress who mysteriously disappeared one day without any explanation. But what caused her disappearance? Why did she initially refuse to marry the Sultan? How did a terrible accident change her life forever? How does she live now? And why was she hidden during her own daughter's wedding? This is a story of love, betrayal, pain, and mystery. And if you stay until the end, you'll learn the shocking truth behind this untold chapter of Malaysia's royal history. Julia Abdul Ray was one of the brightest stars in Malaysian cinema during the late 1980s and early 1990s. With her beauty, charisma, and undeniable talent, she captured the hearts of millions through her roles in romantic dramas. Born to a successful Malaysian businessman and his British wife, Julia's mixed heritage gave her a striking look that set her apart from other actresses of her time. She began her career in television commercials, but quickly transitioned into films, where she secured leading roles and won prestigious awards. At just the beginning of her career, everything seemed to promise her a dazzling future. But then, an unexpected encounter changed her life forever. Julia's path crossed with Prince Abdullah, the Crown Prince of Pahang, and from that moment on, her story took a dramatic turn. At that time, Prince Abdullah was already married to Princess Aziza Amina from Johor. Their marriage was considered a fairy tale of love, but behind the palace doors, things were not as perfect as they seemed. After years of infertility struggles and the devastating loss of their firstborn, who lived only one day, Aziza fell into deep depression. Prince Abdullah, overwhelmed by grief and seeking comfort, found himself drifting away emotionally from his wife. It was during this vulnerable moment that Julia entered his life. Their first meeting happened at a glamorous event in Kuala Lumpur. Julia was invited as a celebrity guest, and Abdullah attended as part of his royal duties. For him, Julia was like a spark of light in his darkest hour, while for her, the attention of a prince felt like a fairy tale come true. Their relationship blossomed, but when the crown prince proposed to Julia, she refused. At just 20 years old, she was at the height of her career. She was starring in hit films, winning awards, and adored nationwide. Marriage, especially into royalty, would mean the end of her independence and career, and Julia was not ready to sacrifice everything. But fate intervened in 1991 when Julia and her close friend, actress Susan Lancaster, were involved in a terrible car accident late at night. Neither of them wore seat belts, and both were thrown into the windshield, sustaining severe injuries. The newspapers reported extensively about her condition, but behind the scenes, it was Prince Abdullah who stepped in. He paid for Julia's treatments, surgeries, and recovery. His care and dedication during her darkest days touched Julia deeply, and it was then that her feelings for him changed. Soon after, she accepted his proposal. Their wedding was kept private, held at Fraser's Hill Resort. Julia became Abdullah's second wife and received the honorary title of Chip Wan, a designation for wives of sultans of non-royal origin. But her marriage came with sacrifices. She ended her acting career, disappeared from magazine covers, and left the limelight behind. For the public, it was as if Julia had simply vanished. For Princess Aziza, the appearance of a rival at the most painful point of her life was devastating. Yet, as a devout Muslim woman, she accepted the situation with grace and patience, though it was a silent battle of emotions inside the palace. Julia soon gave birth to her first daughter, Iman, followed by two more daughters, Alicia and Alana. She lived quietly in a separate palace, raising her children away from public attention. Yet, in the royal household, her position was always under pressure. Aziza, despite her early struggles, never gave up on becoming a mother again. After undergoing 16 IVF procedures, she finally gave birth to a son in 1995, who became heir to the throne. This shifted the balance within the royal family. Julia, who only had daughters, saw her influence weaken. The situation intensified in 1997 when both wives became pregnant at the same time. Julia gave birth to her third daughter, while Aziza delivered her second son. In the traditions of Muslim royal families, The birth of sons symbolized divine blessing and strength, while daughters, although loved, did not secure a mother's position. After that, Julia bore no more children, while Aziza went on to give birth to 5 children in total, further strengthening her role as the future queen. Despite this, Queen Aziza showed dignity and kindness by treating Julia's daughters with care and respect, ensuring they grew up with honor. However, Julia herself faded further into the shadows. She made fewer public appearances and eventually disappeared completely from the public eye, while Aziza became more prominent than ever. Aziza founded a fertility support organization, wrote cookbooks, and engaged actively in public life, winning the admiration of the people. The royal family never publicly discussed Julia's fate. There was no official divorce, but no acknowledgement of her role either, as though she had been erased from history. The mystery of Julia resurfaced in 2018 when her eldest daughter, Iman, married in a grand ceremony at the royal palace. The event was attended by the entire royal family, dignitaries, and guests from across kingdoms. The bride looked radiant and bore a striking resemblance to her mother, but Julia herself was nowhere to be seen. Her absence fueled rumors and speculation. Some believed the royal family forbade her from attending, while others suggested health issues. Yet, unconfirmed reports claim Julia was indeed present, but deliberately kept out of official photos and records, as if her existence had to remain hidden. Today, Julia lives quietly in the United Kingdom with her British mother. When her daughters went abroad for studies, she followed them, stepping completely away from royal life. According to some accounts, her youngest daughter still lives with her while pursuing university education. Rare glimpses of Julia have surfaced over the years, including one photo shared by her eldest daughter showing Julia holding her grandchild. However, the post was quickly deleted, once again fueling the sense of secrecy around her. In 2019, Prince Abdullah ascended the throne as King of Malaysia, with Aziza Amina by his side as queen. Their lives have since been under constant media attention, but Julia's story remains a hidden chapter. Some believe her disappearance was orchestrated to preserve the image of the perfect royal couple, while others argue she chose a quiet life away from the spotlight. Whatever the truth may be, her story remains one of the most fascinating and mysterious tales in Malaysia's modern royal history.